Hey everyone, hope you all are well. The first thing I'm doing today, as always, is priming the eye area, and to do that I'm using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. So I've swiped a little of this onto my eyelid, and now I'm using the Sigma 3D HD Precision brush just to pat that into the skin. And what I love about this brush is the shape of it. It just allows me to really easily and precisely apply the primer to the areas that I want without disturbing the work that I've previously done. So I can get right under that brow bone without losing any brow definition. And then as well, the primer is just going to allow us to apply and blend shadows with ease, and it'll ensure they last all day long too. I'm using the Born to Run eyeshadow palette again today, and I've multiple tutorials using this palette now at this stage. It's just a great buy in my opinion. And the first shade I'm taking is called Riff, and this is a lovely warm brown transition shade, and you can pair this shadow perfectly with any colour. It's just a great starting point. So I've just picked this up on a crown brush, crease brush. It's just a fluffy crease brush, and I'm doing just that. I'm applying the shadow into the crease of the eye and using little circular motions, just running it back and forward in the crease until I've got no shadow left on my brush. Then I'm just picking back up some more eyeshadow now, and I'm adding a second layer, and I'm using the tip of the brush to apply the shadow into the crease just like before, using circular motions, blending back and forward. And then when I've little to no product left on my brush, I'm angling the brush and using more so the side of the brush just to diffuse those edges, and I'm raising my brush up a little higher each time as I blend, just to fade that shadow out towards the brow bone. Next then I'm taking a smaller dense brush. This is a little bullet shaped brush from Vanity Planet, and because of its shape and size it really helps to pack on colour, and that's just what I'm doing now. I'm doing that all the way along the lower lash line. Next then I'm taking the shade Good As Gone. This is just a deep brown. I'm picking this up on a Sedona Lace EB09 brush, and again I've dipped my brush into the palette, covered just the tips of the bristles with the shadow, and now I'm starting to tap this down on the very outer third of the eye. I'm using then little sweeping motions, and I'm pulling this colour up into the crease, and I'm initially keeping this colour in the deepest part of the crease, and then I'm lightly fading it out. So once I'm happy then with how that looks, and I'm happy with the intensity in the blend, I'm then switching to a bullet shaped brush again, and I'm just sweeping that deep brown eyeshadow down along the lower lash line from outer to inner corner, and I'm just making sure then that it connects up on that outer edge. The next eyeshadow I'm taking then is called Radio, and this is a fab cool toned satin medium to dark blue shade, and I've just picked this up on a flat C-shaped brush. This is the Blank Canvas E24, and I'm using this to pat and press the shadow on the inner corner of the eye, and then I'm also coating the outer corner of the eye and just leaving a blank space in the middle. I've also sprayed my brush with some water too, just to make those shimmery particles pop, but you could use a setting spray either, whichever you have to hand. Then I'm taking that shade there called Big Sky, and this is more so a metallic shimmery green. I've just flipped my brush around and I'm using the other side just to coat the centre part of the eyelid. Again, I've spritzed my brush with a bit of water just to emphasise the shimmery particles. Then I'm flipping my brush over and back, and I'm just working between those two shades just to make they fade nicely into one another, and I'm also using the excess product on the brush to go over those edges, and this is going to help merge them nicely together. So as you can see now, we've a bit of a disconnect here between the shadows on the lid and the shadows in the crease. There's a bit of a harsh divide between the two, and it's not just to do with the contrast and shades, it's also to do with the texture of the shadows. So I've just picked up a little more of that brown shadow Good As Gone, and I'm reworking that into the crease. This time, however, though, I'm slightly overlapping it with the shadows on the lid, and then I'm pulling upwards and outwards in the crease. This way then, the cool tones of those blue shadows is going to carry on up into the crease and give us a nice smoky feel without that really metallic glitzy finish that we have on the lid. Next then, I'm taking the eyeshadow Jet, and this is a metallic black eyeshadow. I'm using this on a small smudger brush from Smashbox. It's just small and dense, and it's going to help to press that shadow onto the outer edge of the lid. So I'm taking the shadow from the lash line up to the crease on that outer portion of the eye in a kind of sideways triangular shape. I'm coating the outer third of the eye and then I'm pulling the shadow out at an angle on the outer portion out towards the tail of the brow, and this will just to help elongate the eyes. I'm then taking this angled brush from Vanity Planet and I'm using this just to press that jet shade down along the lower lash line. I love how this brush dips in the centre because it almost then hugs the lash line, making the eyeshadow really easy to apply with little to no fallout. And once I've coated the bottom lash line, I'm then working along the top lash line, just patting and pressing the shadow all the way along the roots of the lashes. I'm now adding a cake liner from KVD Beauty. I've said it before and I know it sounds odd, but I pull my face into a bit of a sad face and this just exposes the waterline without me physically having to pull down the eye area with my hand. And I just make sure that I keep blinking as I'm applying just to prevent the eyes from watering. So finishing touches now, I just felt the lid wasn't popping as much after I'd been blending, so I'm just reapplying some shadow to that area now. And then I'm taking the shade Breakaway, that very first shadow on the top row, and I'm using a little bullet shaped brush from Wet n Wild just to coat around the tear duct of the eye, and this is going to give us a nice little lift. It'll add a bit of brightness to that area. And then I've added some eyelure lashes. These ones taper out on the edges, which will just help to add to that elongated look that I'm going for. And as well, the lash is more full on that outer third, and again, it just complements the look nicely. And to fuse my lashes together with the false ones, I'm using the Lash Idol mascara from Lancome, and then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you found it helpful and easy to follow. If you have any more suggestions of looks you'd like to see, do let me know, and I'll catch you in a video really soon.